Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really serious, Appalachia's ongoing fight against devastating floods. But it's not just about the water. It's about a relief system that seems to be completely broken, failing people right when they need it the most.
Yeah, that's a pretty heavy quote, right? That comes from Brendan Muckian-Bates of the Appalachian Citizens Law Center. He's talking about a crisis that's just getting worse. Things really came to a head after those absolutely catastrophic floods back in 2022 that just hammered eastern Kentucky and southwestern Virginia. That disaster, it really sparked a new push to say enough is enough.
So, in the wake of all that devastation, a new group actually formed. They're called the Appalachian Flood Resilience Coalition. The idea was to bring people together from different states to, tackle this crisis head on. They're basically demanding a much better plan before the next disaster hits.
And their goal is pretty straightforward. They want to figure out, okay, why is the federal aid system failing us? Why are these programs that are supposed to help us prepare just stalled? And, crucially, how can we get better data to actually protect our homes and our lives? You could say they're trying to plug the holes in a dam that's supposed to be keeping everyone safe.
But here's the thing. Even as the storms get worse and the need for help gets more and more urgent, actually getting that federal relief has turned into this massive, tangled mess of bureaucracy and politics. It's a huge challenge.
Okay, get ready for this number because it is a big one. $882 million. Let that sink in. According to Appalachian Voices, that is how much money FEMA leaders literally pulled back from a key program. And what makes this so wild is that this isn't just any program. It's the one specifically designed to build resilient infrastructure, to prevent these disasters from being so bad in the first place, not just clean up after them. And it's not just about money being pulled back. We're talking about active roadblocks. The reporting from Appalachian Voices points to the Homeland Security Secretary personally blocking FEMA funding. Think about that. It creates this huge bottleneck, and it holds up the actual projects on the ground, the things that are supposed to help communities mitigate hazards and reduce the risk before the next flood comes.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but that's just an advocacy group saying that. Well, it's not. The Government Accountability Office, that's a federal watchdog, right? They looked into this, and their ruling was, wow, they found that FEMA actually broke the law, illegally blocking or delaying aid money that Congress had already approved. We're talking about money for basics, like shelter and food.
So you can see, these delays, this blocked funding, this isn't just about numbers on some government spreadsheet. This has a real human cost. We're talking about a devastating impact on people who've lost literally everything and are just trying to figure out how to rebuild their lives. And this quote here from Rebecca Shelton really it hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures how frustrating this whole thing is for families on the ground. Can you even imagine trying to navigate that system? You're dealing with rejection after rejection, endless appeals, and you're doing all this while trying to put the pieces of your life back together. It's just exhausting, and it's not transparent at all. So that leads to the big question, right? If the system we have right now is so fundamentally broken, what can we do about it? What does a fix actually look like?
Well, the good news is people are trying to find solutions. Lawmakers are actually responding. Right now, Congress is looking at two key bills, and each one is designed to try and reform this broken process, but they come at it from slightly different angles.
Okay, so the first one is called the FEMA Act of 2025, and this one is all about completely overhauling the experience for survivors. Think about it. Instead of all these complex, separate applications, you'd have one universal form for disaster aid. And instead of families having to pay out of pocket and then wait forever for a reimbursement, the aid would be an upfront grant. Plus, those super long waits to see if you're even eligible, they'd be expedited. It's all about speed and simplicity.
All right, now the second major piece of this puzzle is the Road to Housing Act. This one is a little different. It's not just about that immediate right after the disaster help. It's focused on the long haul, the long-term recovery. The goal here is to make disaster recovery grants a permanent thing, to give communities some real stability when they're trying to rebuild.
But you know how it goes. Even a great idea can hit a wall in Washington. So get this. The Road to Housing Act passed the Senate unanimously. I mean, unanimously. That almost never happens. So then a key part of it was added to the Senate's defense bill. But when it got to the House, that same part was taken out. So now the whole thing is just kind of stuck in legislative limbo.
And that's pretty much where we are right now. We've got this clear, growing crisis. We have some really well-thought-out solutions on the table. But the biggest question mark, the biggest unknown, is whether there's enough political will to actually get these things passed into law.
So let's just recap real quick. 1. The floods in Appalachia are getting more frequent and more deadly. 2. The current federal aid system is slow, unreliable, and, as the government's own watchdog found, is illegally holding up money. 3. We have actual legislative solutions ready to go, solutions that even have support from both sides of the aisle. And yet, their future is totally uncertain.
And really, that just leaves us with one final urgent question. As these weather events get more and more intense, how long can these communities really afford to wait for a system that actually works? The stakes get higher with every storm season. The cost of doing nothing isn't just measured in dollars anymore. It's measured in homes, in entire communities, and in people's lives.